In this episode of Paint Society, we're going to take these old, crusty, and weathered out wheels and turn them into a beautiful masterpiece using a brand new product on the market. It's the Luna One spray cans. Let's get started. And let's just take a look at the wheels. We can see how crusty and how road rash they are. The paint is faded, some chips around the lug nuts, but that's all good because we're going to take care of it all today. We're going to be using Deep Your Car's Luna One product that they're offering. It comes in satin and high gloss. The cool thing about this product is it is all-in-one, so no primer needed. Everything is already integrated together. In our particular case though, the wheels will need a little bit more extensive sanding and some filler to make sure they're back to normal before we put some paint on. So I'm going to show you in this video how to use some simple glazing putty to get your wheels all nice and straight before paint. But before we can get started on the wheels, we're going to use one of my favorite foaming degreasers that I've been using personally on the channel for quite some time. It's the Super Clean. It's the foaming aerosol. This really helps to get all that dirt and grime lifted from the surface so we can wash it down. Let's go out back and get these all clean. Now that the wheels are all clean, we chose the worst wheel out of the set of 4 to do the full process and demonstration on. If we look closely, you can see a lot of peeling paint and flaking paint, as well as the outside edge of the rim is curved. We're going to take you through the process now of sanding. We're going to be using an aggressive 180 grit sandpaper to smooth out the interior edge since we do have a lot of flaking paint. For this, I like to take my sandpaper and cut it. And then there's really no fancy way to do it other than just a little bit of tedious labor inside of each one of these little holes and getting everything completely smoothed out. On the outside of the wheel, we can use a DA sander, but right now we're going to have to do everything by hand to make sure that we can get it nice and smooth. We chose a P180 since it was so badly painted and chipping. Nothing else less aggressive would have done the job needed in this process. So we're using a P180 to get the paint as level as possible. So when we put the primer on, it's going to be nice and smooth. And that is a lot of sanding. Now, don't get me wrong, the best possible way to refinish a wheel is to get it completely stripped, sandblasted, powder coated, and back to brand new. But what we're doing here is a do-it-yourself type of project that you can do right in your own home garage. And so with a little bit of elbow grease and some spray cans, I think we can get a great result. And now that we've sanded the whole interior here where the lug nuts go, we can make things a little bit smoother and faster. I got a brand new toy that's not necessary, but I just gotta show you it right now. And here it is, guys. It's Milwaukee's Fuel. It's their new dust extractor unit. I tried this over at SEMA 2024, and I gotta say, it was very impressive when I used it. We've got it hooked all the way up into our DA sanders from Milwaukee. If you're a fan of the channel, we use these very often. We're gonna be using a P320 grit, and you're gonna need a sandpaper that has the holes in it. And if it does not have the holes in it, it cannot vacuum sand, and it also is going to need the interface pad because I like a little bit of a cushion. Now we can go ahead and use it on the surface of our wheel, get everything nice and sand it smooth without all the dust in the air. Once the sanding is done, we can take a look at the pattern and we can tell a pattern like this looks like there's no rash. You can see there's no rash, there's no rash, there's no rash. Until you get into this area and see that the pattern is kind of broken. You can see that the metal is even pushed a little bit into the inside of this little edge here. And we follow the pattern, it's a little bit messed up here. We follow the pattern, for the most part, everything looks good. So by sanding, you get that visual aid. Now, what are we gonna do here? Well, since this is pushed up into the actual rim a little bit and it's a little bit distorted, we're gonna Dremel that out. And that's all it took, just a little bit of dremeling, and now this inner edge is smooth, and we can apply just a little bit of glazed putty to fill in these minor imperfections. This is the same thing you do on any body panel of a vehicle. And to clean up that inner edge, we're gonna be using a little bit of Contours polyester glazing putty, and this will go into the little rash and smooth it out. For that, this is a tube that you can use. Just squirt a little bit on this mixing area here. It won't take much either. Some of the resin might be coming out if it's been sitting, but that's not a problem. For this size amount, we don't need a whole lot of hardener. I like to generally go across the bead of the filler, and that's usually enough. We'll then mix our glaze by overlapping, by going over itself, just like this. And this will ensure that it is completely mixed when we don't see any more of these blue streaks in the actual filler itself. Now the work time here is around about a minute or so you're gonna wanna be quick before it starts to dry up. Now all we have to do is look for those spots where it's a little bit still black in there. And this is not gonna be the perfect application, but you can get it on there and we can sand it and smooth it out later and it'll work out just fine. This is actually not too hard to do, and this will give you a beautiful finish when you're all done. It will look just like the rest of the wheel. And that's it. We'll allow this to dry for a good 10 minutes and we'll come back and sand it smooth and it'll be ready for the next step. And now this has been dry for 10 minutes, let's go over it with our sander. Now again, you can do this by hand, but the sander is gonna leave it a little bit smoother and it's a little bit quicker to do. Now with one wheel completely prepped and ready for its primer stage, we'll hop on the 3 others and get those done super quick. And now we're ready for the next step in the process. Now let's say our wheels were in great condition, then we would go right into the Luna 1 wheel refinisher. Now this is an all-in-one product. It's got the primer in it, and with the wheel kit that Dipper Car has, all you gotta do is scuff it up, give it a clean, and let's say you have your tire on. Most of you are gonna have your tire on when it comes to these like tire covers. And check that out. And yeah, you can focus only on the wheel itself. You don't have to worry about the tire getting overspray. This is gonna cover the whole entire tire, whether you're doing it on your car or if you have it off the car. That is a great way to cover it up. Our wheel was a little bit of a unique situation because it was so badly damaged. That's why we're gonna go into the 2K primer. Now this 2K primer, what I like about it is it can go over the body filler, which is my main concern. Going over the body filler, some of that flaking paint, and then I wanna sand it. And I don't wanna waste product sanding this Luna 1 because it's a great product. I'd rather use it in the primer itself, something designed for that. This will give me a little bit of build that I can smooth it out. But by all means, if your wheels are in great condition, which most of you probably are gonna be fine, just go right into this product and you can skip this whole entire step. But for those of you that maybe let your wife borrow your car, you're gonna wanna go ahead and do this. And this is a 2K product, and inside, for this particular can, there is a catalyst that is in a bladder and you need to puncture it. The way you do that is you see this little stem here, there's a little cap. You're gonna go ahead and put it onto that cap, and then you're gonna have to push it really, really hard onto a surface and listen to it pops. When you hear that pop, you know that you have punctured the bladder, and now once you go to shake it, the two of those ingredients are gonna mix, and once they mix for about a good 3 minutes, then you're good to apply it onto your wheels. Now I'm gonna use one of the cleaning wipes in a Dip Your Car kit. A final clean before primer or before paint will ensure that you get the best possible adhesion for your primer or for your paint in any project that you do. Cleaning is the name of the game, so do not skip out or rush on that step, or you might have paint that just might not stick too well. What we decide to do is use the black primer on the inside of the wheel. Since the inside of the wheel is kind of cooked and all scratched up, we're going to use this since it's very similar in color to what we're going to be painting with in the final product. What this will do is give us one color. Now we're ready for our black primer. We'll go ahead and coat the inside, and we'll just move it as we go along. This way, when you look at the wheel when it's on the car, everything looks nice and clean and black. Again, this wheel will be a great candidate for completely being sandblasted and then powder coated. But we're trying to make these just look nice, and this is a great do-it-yourself project if you have at home something similar to like this. And being so hot out here in the Florida sun, we can go ahead and flip it down. It's already going to be dry about 10 minutes later. And on the front face of the wheel, we'll do about 2 coats, just about 5 minutes in between. Now we can go ahead and finish up the rest of our wheels in primer. Ooh, it is super hot, super bright out there. It's also really bright in this garage. You might remember when we redid it and we reached out and we got high hyperlight that came and did all the LEDs here in the garage, and it's super awesome. They're also doing something new. They're doing basically lit up logos or designs or signs, and they're like, hey, we want to make you a sign. Maybe you just show your viewers and see if they're interested as well. I didn't really have a lot of expectations because I didn't know how it was going to come out, but it arrived here at my doorstep and I got everything completely unboxed, and I was really happy with how accurate the logo looked. But then I lit it up. Let me show it to you on the wall here. So here it is on the wall. I chose to kind of put it on this wall, and you can see the design of it is so accurate. All I had to do was send them a picture of my logo. But here, let me show you what it looks like and the different features they have for it. So obviously we can't see anything until now. You can see how awesome, and look at how bright that looks. The detail on it is fantastic. And it came with this remote as well. You can do a lot of different things to it. You can dim it all the way down if it's too bright. You can bring it all the way up, or even like, let's say halfway. And then it does some weird different blinking light things if you want to attract attention. Let's say it's outside your shop or whatnot. It's got a lot of different features. It can do blinking fast, blinking slow, intermittent blinking, that type of thing. It's kind of cool what you can do with the light design. For me personally, I just like it on the solid, just kind of hanging out in the garage here. And it's just a cool little sign, to be honest. Even better in person, since it doesn't have the weirdness of the camera giving off the light into the lens. But if you guys are interested, go ahead and check them out. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the light on. And even with the light, it's really cool. It's really illuminated. So great company. Again, they did all the lighting here in the garage, and they're kind of expanded a little bit into this market, and I think it's a great idea. This is held on to the wall with some anchors, so it's actually floating off the wall. There's a couple of different ways you can design it. So if you have any way to kind of hide that better other than going into the wall, let me know. I'm just a little bit picky about my wires showing. So basically what the company said to me is we're gonna give a link to your subscribers that will give them a discount if they're interested in something like this. And again, I'm not doing any paid sponsorships. I'm only doing things that I'm really interested. So if a company sends me something that I'm interested, I'm gonna show you guys. And I think it's a pretty cool sign. So if you guys are interested, make sure you check out the link in the description. Maybe you'll find something you like on the website. Now, let's get back to the primer once it's dry. And we're back here the next day, 24 hours later, and take a look at our wheel. It's all been primered and it looks nice and smooth, but to the touch, it could use a little bit more smoothing out. This is the most important step in the process, preparing it for the paint. And like a lot of my viewers on a budget that just want to get some projects done without spending too much money, that perfect budget sander, it's an electric sander, is here. You don't have to buy the Milwaukee that we used earlier in the video. The Milwaukee is a cool gadget, maybe for someone that's a little bit more professional, is going to use it more often and cares about the dust extraction. But if you don't care too much and you want to do little projects, a little electric sander just like this, we'll leave a link in the description, will get you through a lot of projects pretty quick. In a lot of my videos, I'll tell you there's a few different ways to get the same result. But for this particular instance, I'm really adamant about the K600 from Eagle Abrasives. This is a K600 sandpaper. It's gonna leave a nice smooth scratch, but do the rough sanding without leaving a coarse scratch all over the wheel that the spray can cannot just fill in. For this, we'll be using a DA paper. We'll also be using their little hand pad to get into the tough areas. Let me show you how. And I have my K600 with the interface pad to leave a nice smooth scratch. We're gonna set this at the lowest speed. We're gonna use our sander mainly for the flat areas, and then for the smaller areas, we can use our hand pad sandpaper. Now the hand pad is the same interface type of material, so it's nice and squishy, and that helps to really get into all the tight areas and leave a nice K600 sand scratch. And this will really help to get the inside of the wheel smooth without gouging the wheel. Sometimes a spray can is not gonna have thick enough paint in it to recover from a harsh scratch. So we wanna leave it with a nice sand smooth finish. That way we'll have the best possible outcome when it comes to spraying. And now that the wheel is all sanded, we'll move on to the rest of the wheels and do the same exact process. Now with the wheels all sanded, they're really dusty, we can't put paint over them. So what we need to do is go back to step one and get them all washed up. And for that, I already have some water in a bucket, and I'm gonna use some super clean degreaser. Just pour a little bit in there, swish it around, and I'm gonna use one of the included maroon scuff pads that came in the Dip Your Car kit and get these all washed up out back. Now we're ready for our next step, but I have something completely unnecessary. Especially for a small project like this, you don't need an inflatable paint booth. But since I have a nice clean garage, I don't want any overspray on anything, and that's the only reason why I'm setting it up. Otherwise, I would just let it rip. And believe it or not, I can't believe I even got it back in the bag. And a lot of companies will come and tell you that their inflatable paint booths are different. Let me tell you something, they're all the same. I had a company last week offer me an inflatable paint booth. I said no, I already got 2 of them. They're all the same. They don't really push air out, but it's good for small spray can jobs just like this, and to keep overspray off anything in your garage or keep it out of the environment. We're all set up in a booth. I'll show you how it looks like in a moment. But guys, if you want to support the channel, again, the Paint Society suits, these are some of the best suits they have on the market. This is a lab coat. We also have the Paint Society shirts if you want to interested in supporting the channel as well. We'll go ahead and get suited up here, get our mask on. We'll head into our little mini booth and start spraying away. But before we do that, let's go ahead and get these things one step further and clean. We'll be using the included wipes. Go ahead and tear it open. And this is the final cleaning before we lay down the paint. Now basically, if you don't have this, all it is an alcohol wipe, just to make sure the surface is nice and prepped. See, nothing is coming off because we washed the wheel so thoroughly and so well. We don't want this to be black. That would mean that we didn't do a good job cleaning prior to the actual final prep. This is just the last final cleaning. And you can see what we've done here. We've just taken a pipe, put it on the table, taped it down, put a wheel on either side, because sometimes what happens with these spray cans is if they're actually flat or horizontal, they don't spray well. So it's best to have them in a vertical position. And look at, we can turn it. Really makeshift, but really easy to make. Just one pipe and some tape and a table is all you need. We have our Luna 1 product here. It's a 2K product. It's gonna be much more durable. It's gonna cover better. We're gonna spray 1 coat on wet, and I think that's all we're gonna need. Let's go ahead and get to it. Just like that, and we'll let it dry, and then we'll take a look. We got 2 more to do. We'll get our cleaning done on this set of wheels. And once it's all wiped down, then these 2 set of wheels are ready for their Luna 1 satin paint. Now we're just pulling out the last wheel from the paint booth. We're gonna go ahead and let them dry, and then we'll take a look. But in the meantime, I wanna do a comparison and try out that Glossy Luna 1 paint and see how it looks on another wheel. This wheel right here, we're gonna use for our glossy test, and we're gonna see how well it works. Now, we take a look at this wheel. The actual wheel itself, it's just like the wheels you would have that is designed for this kit, to scuff it and shoot it. There's no rash, there's no issues, there's nothing that needs to be fixed. All it needs is a scuff with the maroon scuff pad that was in the Dip Your Car kit. So basically, all you would need to do is scuff it up. Now this particular wheel has been my test wheel, and I sprayed many different colors on it for testing out wheel colors. So this is not actually a color for my vehicle, but it's just a color that I went and chose, and I wanted to see how it looked on the wheel. So this is our test panel for many different projects that we do. So don't feel bad about ruining the finish here. We're gonna see how well this Luna 1 shiny glossy paint really works. Now all you need to do here is use the scuffing of the 400 grit maroon scuff pad. That's what it's equal to. And get into all the different crevices, different areas, and basically what you want to do is de-gloss every single thing that you see that is shiny. You want it to be a matte finish. And for the final wipe, once again, we'll use a pre-painting wipe that was in the kit. Go ahead and clean up all of our areas. Make sure that this wheel gets the same treatment as our other 4 wheels with a satin finish. Just finished laying down the second coat now of our Glossy Luna 1. Let's take a look at it and see what it looks like. I'm gonna bring it out and we're gonna do a comparison of all the wheels, this one, and I'm gonna give you my final thoughts on this product and wheel refinishing. And behind me, I have the finished products. Let's take a look. And take a look at our wheels. Do you remember in the beginning of the episode how torn up these 4 wheels were and how beautiful they are now? And our glossy wheel, it took just a few minutes to prep and it's looking fantastic. Really makes it easy using an all-in-one spray can for those types of finishes in the wheels that are all ready to go with no prior damage. And the truth is, this is the first time using these Luna 1 cans, and I am really impressed. Now, I have painted wheels before using the spray gun, and those finishes are mint. And I was looking for something very similar. Granted, there'll be a little bit difference when it comes to using a spray gun and a spray can, but these are top tier spray cans. I've never seen anything like it. Now, the one thing I do like about the glossy finish option is a lot of folks like to do trims emblems and different things like that, and it really doesn't take any prep, sealer, primer, just a little bit of scuffing, you spray and you're done, and who needs more steps in their life? But as for our 4 wheels that are completely refinished, they look great and they're ready to go back onto the vehicle, and I'm really happy with the end result. As for our Glossy, I love it just as much, and I can't wrap my head around which is a better option for me in the future. That's why I want to hear from you. What do you prefer? Do you like the satin finish or do you like the glossy finish? Let me know down in the comments. Guys, this has been a great episode, and thank you for coming along this whole process and refinishing these wheels with Luna One products and many different products that we used in this episode. This is Brian from Paint Society reminding you, don't overthink it. It's just paint. I'll see you guys on the next episode.